What are starting prompts in Autopilot for everyone and how do we utilize them? That is what we are going to see in this video. Hi everyone, welcome back to the next video in the UiPath Autopilot series where we are trying to explore Autopilot in a step-by-step manner. My name is Mukeshkala. I am a 4 times UiPath MVP and a LinkedIn top voice. Feel free to send me a connection request on the LinkedIn and I would be happy to be part of your network. Also, we have a small WhatsApp community which you can scan the QR and join the WhatsApp community. Before getting started, in case you are coming to the channel for the first time and haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the next videos in the same playlist. Having said that, let's get started. Okay, so let's quickly see what we are going to cover in this tutorial, right? So this is my UiPath Autopilot for everyone, and when I start it, you would notice that at the starting, Autopilot is asking me what actually you want to work on, which department are you coming from. So I am coming from an IT department, and for that I have some specific prompt, right? So let's say if I want to see all the general prompts, I can just go here and select general, right? So that's what we are going to actually see, that how we can utilize this thing for Autopilot for everyone. In case you are new to the Autopilot series, you can refer this complete playlist where we have explained Autopilot for Studio, Studio Web in Hindi, and then we are also trying to understand Agentic. Everything is explained in step-by-step manner. Feel free to refer to the playlist and you will get everything whatever you see on the screen, right? So what actually are these starting prompts, right? So starting prompts are the predefined instruction which we can actually give to Autopilot for everyone to do everyday tasks, so that I don't have to write the prompt every time. What would be the applications where I can actually utilize this Autopilot starting prompts, right? So you can think of a company which is having different departments like HR, IT, finance, manufacturing, and then you would have a set of business users who are actually doing it for their day-to-day purpose, like reply to an email and all that, doing all the general stuff, right? So I can actually categorize the prompts into different department, and also it can be categorized by the action type. So for example, you are using Autopilot for creating content or generating content. Then there is a set of users who is actually using Autopilot to analyze the data. So the people who are analyzing the data would have a different set of prompts, and the people who are generating the content would have a different set of prompts. Similarly for scheduling and optimizations. So I can have segregation of the starting prompts so that people, as per their role, they select the specific kind of a department and then they get started with the Autopilot. Okay. What are the benefits? It is streamlining the processes. It reduces the user onboarding time. So every time I do not have to teach the users that what are the things, you get the predefined kind of layout. You have an option to edit it, which in turns enhance my productivity, right? So this is what is the starting prompt in very general, right? Now, there comes a question that how it is different from the default prompts which are available. Let's quickly analyze that as well. So default prompts are something which are automatically displayed if there is no custom prompts created. So whenever you use Open Autopilot for the first time, you see a lot of tasks which are available. Those are the default prompts. So these are useful for quick setup and standard tasks like reply to an email, send a reminder and all those stuffs. But when you think of a business process, or when you think of your business day-to-day task, these prompts might not suffice for your requirement and you want to edit it. You would like to modify it, and in other words, you want to add more of your prompts. That is where you have something which is called custom prompts. So you can actually hide the default prompts if you do not want to see them, and you can actually go and add your new prompts, again meeting your organizational needs, right? So that is why those default prompts, whatever you see, if they are serving your purpose, well and good. You have option to modify them, edit them and add on top of them as well, right? And the key features are prompts are shuffled in the UI at every startup, ensuring the variety. So custom prompts are also sometimes referred as feature prompts as well. you can highlight the most important prompt at the top for the quick access. If you want everything, you can still do that. And the key features are you can prompt up to 3 prompts per department and category, right? So as of now you don't understand what is department, what is category, but these are the features. At the end of this video you would understand where this department and category is coming from, right? And featured prompts are always visible at the top. Okay, not only this, you also have an option to place placeholders in the prompts. So what do I mean by that is you can actually replace some specific data. So for example, you are working on finance and there are a couple of team members who are working on different currency, right? So let's say I am working in India, so I want to know the rate for, let's say, dollar versus INR, right? So I can just go and replace this triple chevrons with INR. Anybody who is working in Japan or China can work with the same prompt but with a different value, right? So depending on the business user department, you can actually put placeholders which the business users can actually update. A simple example could be provide me weather location for India, right? It could be provide me weather location for USA, provide me weather location for Japan, and so on and so forth, right? So your exact prompt is same, but you allow business users to actually put the placeholders so they can actually customize, and user just replace this thing with New York and they get the specific weather for New York, right? So that means that you can also have placeholders placed in the prompts. Okay, now in order to use and add the starting prompts, these are the steps which are available, but rather going by theory, let's try to do it practical. And I request you guys to open the autopilot, follow along with me so that you guys also have the similar thing at the end of the tutorial, right? So with that, let's go directly jump and try to add the starting prompts. Okay, so this is my autopilot screen, right, where you as of now would be seeing only this, right? So how can we actually go and add them? So for that you have to go to the cloud account, which is cloud.uipath.com, right? This is the place where we have enabled the autopilot, right? So make sure that you are using the same enterprise account. Okay, enterprise account, because when you are using autopilot you need to have the enterprise license. You can still activate the enterprise license. All of that is mentioned in the first video. Okay, so I can just go here, click on these 3 dots, and then we go to this guy, which is the admin, right? So this is our admin panel, and then from the organization, which is this, right, this is what we have been working. I'll go to this one which says the AI trust layer, and into the AI trust layer we have something which is called autopilot for everyone. This is where we have installed it. I'll just go select the default tenant, and you can see that we have enabled the autopilot, right? And this is, by the way, where you can install it as well, right? Now if you see here, the first thing which you see at here is called the starting prompts, right? And that is what we just discussed in theory, right? So when I go here and I say starting prompt, the first thing you would notice here, it is showing you all the folders which you are currently connected to. So we have the autopilot folder, we have this workspace, and depending on this you can have a different workspace, right? So for example, if I go to the autopilot, click on this setting, and you could see that this is the user, which user is using this one, right? So now into the configured prompt you have 2 options. The user is seeing all the prompts which are in the autopilot folder, and he is also seeing the prompts which are added to his own workspace, right? So depending on what kind of stuffs you are doing, you can just go here and utilize it. Okay, so now first thing first, let's see. If I select to autopilot, you can see that into the autopilot we have given him all these tasks which you see at the beginning. So you see that he has access to general schedule. So if you see here, this is where this all is coming from. The department is general and the category is create. So if you just try to map it with autopilot, maybe I can just keep it side by side like this, right? So you see here, this general is nothing but the department and create is the category. Similarly, you have one more category which is called the schedule, right? So you see schedule and this is general. So that means that whatever department you select here, that becomes the top one. This is the department, and then whatever category you select, that category becomes this, and whatever you specify, these becomes the prompt. Okay, and you can edit these options as well, right? So for example, I want to just create this one, so I can go and click on edit, and you have an option to edit the journal, create, and this. So if you see here, into the journal, into the create, this is the actual prompt which says that Mukesh, create meeting summary, blah blah blah. I just edited it. So let's say instead of Mukesh, I am just writing it for the finance department. So I can just go here and I say create meeting summary and action item for the call transcript for finance department, right? And then the prompt which is actually coming here, summarize the key meetings tailored for finance department, right? So basically you have an option to customize these prompts as well. I can just say save, and then the meeting summary one is updated, which is this one, but still you don't see that thing changing. That is because you need to refresh the policies, right? So to do that, you don't have to actually restart. You can restart the assistant also, that would work. But the good part is you can just go to this guy, and then you have the UiPath assistant here, right click on it, and you have something which is called refresh policy. So I can click on that, and now it will actually reload the stuff from my cloud account. Okay, I still don't see the updated changes. The reason for that is I didn't do the save changes, right? So I just go here and I say save the changes, right? So yeah, the changes has been saved. Now let's go back to the assistant, refresh the policies, and now I should actually be able to see that finance department prompt, right? So I just forgot to click on this guy, which was the save changes. So let's go back, and here it is, right? So create a meeting summary and action item for the call transcript for the finance department. I click on that and I am able to get this prompt here, right? So that means that as a beginner, you can actually go and customize these all prompts as well, right? Other thing, with the default prompts, you have an option here to go delete them, right? And the other thing is you have this option which is featured. So if I just go and let's say I want to go here and I say that this is the featured prompt, where I say that this is my featured prompt and I want to show it as a featured, I can just go here and I save this, and now this is a featured. I say save the changes, right? Changes saved successfully. Then I go here, still I don't see as a featured, so I just need to refresh the policies, right? So just make sure that you save the changes and refresh the policies, and that should again refresh the policies from the automation cloud. Let's see, and I'll go to the general, and you see that small featured on the top. That's what is the featured prompt, right? So I hope now you guys understood what is department mapping to this, what is the category, what is the prompt, and what is this, right? So this was all about modifying the default prompts, right? How about I want to add my own department and I want to add my own new prompts? Okay, so for that, let's go here and select the folder which you want to use. You can still add it to the autopilot folder because this user is already part of the autopilot folder. So how do you know that? You can just go to the orchestrator, right? So a little bit about orchestrator you guys should be always aware of, right? So that whenever you have some issues with the user roles and management, you should be able to know, right? Okay, my bad. This is the orchestrator, right? So the whole idea is the user who is using autopilot should be part of that folder, right? So if I go to my orchestrator, if you can see in the autopilot folder, I go to the users and I have this user which is already part of this folder, right? And my workspace is something which is personal to this user, so definitely he would be part of this folder, right? So you have an option to add it. So in case you are a user who is having multiple folders and you are writing it in a specific folder, make sure that the autopilot user is also part of that folder, right? Here I quickly want to introduce, in case you want to learn more about the orchestrator, I have a paid course which is available. This one you can find the link in the description. Okay, so let's go back to the autopilot, and I'll just go to the my workspace, and here you can see this is the same one which I was showing. Let's try to create a new one. So I can go here and I say create new. Okay, and then it is asking me what is the department. Okay, so what is the department you want to work for, right? So that department will come at the top. Right now I hope you understand, right? So I want to create a new department called, let's say, tbmk_dept tutorials by Mukeshkala department, right? And in that department, what is the category? So I say that this is my personal category. Okay, and then it is asking me prompt displayed to the user. What prompt you actually want to display to the user, right? So for example, I just copy pasted something that summarize the latest industry news, right? So this is what I wanted to do for my personal department. And then there is an option which says prompt which is sent to AI. If you click on that, which means that when I actually write this prompt into the autopilot here, right? So for example, when you see this, what's on my calendar today, when I click on that, it displays the same thing. However, when I click on this, it is giving me a different prompt with some additional inputs, right? So this, whatever you see here, this is this one prompt which is being sent to AI, this guy. Okay, and the prompt displayed to the user is the one which you see here. So when I select this, maybe identify my task routine that can be automated, this is this, and whatever you see here, this is that, right? So now when the user see this, what prompt you actually want to send to the user, right? So to the AI. So I can just go here and I'll copy paste a prompt. So this is the prompt which I actually want to send to the AI, that provide a concise summary of the recent news, blah 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 and all, right? So now do you want to actually feature this? I can select yes by clicking on that small featured, right? And if it requires a file upload like an image JPEG, you have option to add that as well. And whenever you use this prompt, it is going to ask you for the file, right? So we'll keep it simple, and I'll just uncheck this and I'll save this. Okay, so now I can just go here and let's try to add a new, and then I can just on the same department, the same category, let me try to add a new prompt. Let's say I'll just copy paste some of the prompts which I have already written just to save time, right? And then I'll just provide a description to the AI as well, and this time I'm not featuring this, right? So I'll just go ahead and save this, right? So same like that, inside one department you can have multiple different categories, right? So today, let's say after personal, I have one more category which is my business. Okay, into the business category I want to do something for my business, right? So I can just go here and write some prompts. Okay, you can just test it depending on your requirements, and I want to make this as feature prompt, and I say save, right? So what I have done is, for this users I have added one department and two categories. So basically for this user, you can see now it has department. In that department you have different categories. Okay, so now again don't forget to do the save changes, which I actually forget, and then all we have to do is just go here and into this and say refresh the policies. Okay, and then that should refresh the policies, right? So let's put it side by side maybe. So the department is here, general, IT, and this. In that, if I select this guy, there now you have personal and then you have the business, which are nothing but the categories. So this is the personal and this is the business. Into the personal I had two prompts, one of them is featured. Into the business I have one prompt which is by default featured. Now you would notice that when I actually say prompt display to the user, this is the same thing which you see here, but when you actually go and click on this, that is the description which we added here, that what is the prompt which is sent to AI, right? So summarize the latest industry news is coming here, and this prompt which is sent to AI is coming here, right? So that way you can actually go and customize it. I can just go and send this, so that every time whenever I do this, I can just use to go to department and do my rest set of stuff, right? So that is how the customization of the prompts work. Okay, now I hope you guys are able to follow along till this, and you were successfully able to add some of your custom prompts. If that is the case, please do comment that successfully able to do custom prompts, or just write custom prompts, so that I understand that people are able to follow along, and then I can see that whatever I have given, I don't have to rewrite it every time. Okay, now one other good part about using this thing is, in this, if I want to add all the default prompts, the general one, you have this button here which says add the default prompts. I can click on that, and that will add all the default prompts whichever are there. And now when I go to this user would have all the stuff, right? And then you can edit, click, modify and all, right? So I don't want to do that, so I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, and I can just go back to the tenant and starting prompts. So yes, then I go to that user, and that user only have this thing, right? So the one which we just added were the featured prompts. Okay, as during the presentation I mentioned that we also can have the placeholders in the prompts. Let me quickly show you how you can add placeholders, and that's absolutely simple, right? So placeholders will actually allow you to add the custom input, so that in case depending on different users, you want different inputs to be part of the prompt. How you can do that? Let's see that. Okay, so now I'll just go here and I'll create new, and then let's create a new department. Okay, so let's say today I open a new department which is called, let's say, tutorials by Mukeshkala, and I say this is my new department which is called Autopilot. Autopilot everyone, APE1, right? So that's my new department. Okay, in that department today, let's say I want to do something for the finance. Okay, so in that finance, now I want to ask some of the things, right? So in my finance department, there are different business users working in different department, and they want to report with a different date range, right? So what I can do is I can add a prompt like this. Okay, there are 2 4. Okay, so something like this, right, where I say that generate a report for a date range, right? So but now there are different business users who wants data with a different business range, so I'm going to add some placeholders. So now please carefully notice this, what I have done. So what I have done is I have mentioned here generate a detailed report for, and then you see this one, this is the placeholders. So when you actually run this into Autopilot is going to ask you this as an input covering activity strain, and it is also asking you the date range, right? So in case you want to build something, that's how you can build it. You just have to follow these 4 angular brackets, or this kind of less than or greater than sign, right? So yeah, that's it. And then let's make it to default, and I save this, right? And let me just create a new one into the finance category, and let's say try to create a job description, right? So in that I want to today create a job description, and the prompt which is sent to AI is this, where I say that write a comprehensive job description for a position. What is the position, what is the company, include the responsibility and all this stuff, and then I can just go and I can make it to the as a default prompt, or we can ignore this, and I just say save. and save the changes, right? So this time what we have done is we have created a new department which is called tutorials by Mukeshkala, autopilot for everyone, finance department, and added placeholders. Okay, let's go back to our system tray, refresh the policies. Okay, and that should refresh the autopilot policies. I hope you guys now are able to understand, and let's see how does the custom prompt look like. Okay, and here it is, right? So I'll just go here, select the autopilot for everyone. It is showing me the featured prompt, and then we had this. So if you see here, create a job description, basic, shown to the users. When I click on that, it is asking me the complete input so that I don't have to type it again, and asking me to add this, right? So write a comprehensive job description for the position. So I can click on that, and now you can replace it, right? So let's say I'm creating my YouTube videos and I need a video editor, right? And what is the company name? So my company name is, let's say, tutorials by Mukeshkala YouTube channel, right? And that's it, right? So I just need a video editor, let's say, for my this, and I can just say send, and now it's going to write me a comprehensive job description, right? So you can think it of an HR department who are having a lot of job description, different department working on different things, and then it creates a good thing for me. And now all I have to do is I can just utilize this, use it in the email, use it some of the integration. That is all we have already seen, right? So now I can just go here and I say that maybe send this to this email ID, and that will trigger the the integration services. That's what we have already discussed, and then it just continued the stuff, right? To proceed with this, this will create an Outlook account, and all of that will go from the integration services, all of the things, right? So now you can combine all of that, and you can actually use autopilot for your day-to-day requirement or for your customer, right? So it has given me all this stuff, Outlook account, and I just have to go and click on run, and that's it, right? So without writing much, I can now actually go and utilize the custom prompts, right? So that's where you see all of these custom prompts, which is directly coming from your autopilot for everyone here, which is the starting prompts, right? So now you have complete understanding of how do you utilize the starting prompts. Okay, so with that, wrapping this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope this was insightful. If you like this content and you were able to follow along, let me know in the comments. You can also post this thing in the LinkedIn. Feel free to tag me. I would be happy to amplify your post to the wider network. That will give you visibility on your network, and it might help you in your career as well, right? If you like this content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video of Autopilot for Everyone.